tutti.
Good afternoon.
Do il benvenuto a tutti voi.
Good afternoon. I would like to welcome all of you on behalf of our Federazione, this Federation of Farming Machines. Over these days, we have been focusing on the fact that AgriLevante is a very important event with a very important economic and commercial impact, but it is also a very important event, and its importance will grow over the next few years in terms of collaboration across the Mediterranean countries. Here we have with us the best producers of farming machines of Italy, where these are companies that can be very interesting for North African countries, because as I was telling before to a journalist, Italy is a lead country in this sector, so we produce specialized machines that are really easy to be used also in Northern Africa in terms of the rural conditions of these countries. We are now experiencing a great time in terms of innovation and technology, and for sure this will result in the future in an improvement of our productions, and also in terms of the use of resources in agriculture. So, well, of course, this will help Italy and the rest of Europe to pursue the objectives of sustainability. I would say that this meeting is one of the most important meetings of these days, and our Federazione has really wanted to participate in this meeting because as chair of the Federation, I like a lot these kind of meetings, because through these meetings, AgriLevante will become a bridge for the development of agriculture in Northern Africa. So I wish all the best for the rest of the conference, and once again, I would like to thank you for your participation. Thank you, President Maschio. She will stay with us for a while, then I know that she has to leave because she has to attend another event in this fair. So at a given point she will disappear, but anyhow, thank you for being with us now. Well, you have found on your chairs this publication that we have made with the support of FederUnacoma, also thanks to their statistical data, through which we have had access to very important figures and data. We have analyzed this data. I'm Gianfranco Bigran. I'm the editor-in-chief of Africa Affari, that is a journal that is focused on the African continent. So we have started this data focusing on the 5 countries on the other side of the Mediterranean: Egypt, then from east to west, Egypt, Libya, Tunisia, Algeria, and Morocco. So we have focused our study on these 5 countries over the last few years, and we have seen that the Italian expert to these countries has grown. Of course, there are differences from one country to the other. We are experiencing very important and complex times of crisis. There has been also the pandemic in between, and there has been a disruption of the distribution chains in our trade relationship. So we have derived a picture of the situation that envisages a lot of potentials in terms of setting up successful partners between Italy, that has a very important experience in this sector, and the countries of North Africa, but not only them, also the entire Africa. We are speaking about a continent that from now to 2050 will have 1 billion inhabitants more, and from now to 2100 will have 100 billion inhabitants more. So the inhabitants of the African continent will be 35% of the total population of the world. This means that we have to work to increase farming productivity in a place of the world where there is the lowest productivity in farming. We have to work in a place where there is most of the fertile grounds, but they are not cultivated. So there are needs, well, of course, but there is also a political convergence in the widest meaning of this term. A political convergence to reach positive results. In few days, Rome will host an Italian summit, the third or the fourth in 10 years period, that really exemplifies our attention to the other shore of the Mediterranean. We are speaking about countries with which Italy shares its history, with a lot of relationships, cultural relationships. So if these are the starting points, the points of departure, this means that there are very good opportunities on our behalf. For sure, we have realized that something has to be changed. Because we have not a comprehensive picture of Africa. There is something we miss. If we had to make a snapshot of Africa today, we wouldn't be able to do this because Africa is so dynamic. So we travel a lot. We go very often there in their capital cities, and also with intervals of few months there are new neighborhoods, new buildings. So there is a dynamism that we have lost a little bit here in Europe. Because maybe we have different needs, but in Africa there are needs that really call for that dynamism. And there is also in Africa they are open to technology, and you can experience this firsthand. So the general continent, in general, Africa has now to approach something we have also to do. That's to say, we have, in Africa, we have to pursue sustainability, we have to find new funds. We have devoted a chapter to the users of tractors, and in those countries where there is an occurrence of tractors per hectare that is not really the same of the European standards, to fill this gap, they have invented these modalities of tractor sharing, so to say. So there are people, there are contractors that make available their vehicles to the farmers to crop the land in different parts of the countryside. One last element that we should not forget that is that Africa is very young. When we speak about population and demography, we have also to consider that we have to do with a very young continent, and maybe that dynamism I mentioned before is linked to this. Well, in this publication, in this volume, we have focused on these countries. We started from Egypt.
The third country in terms of population, 100 million inhabitants. COVID obliged to review a number of things with an interruption of the after the interruption supply chains, and therefore it was understood how important it is to increase local production and diversify. The import of machines has increased. The challenge is to increase the cultivated surface areas. Egypt is characterized by the desert, and the area that may be cultivated and may be grown is along riverbanks. Libya, our partner, we know the very recent history of Libya, and in Libya much is being done. They are ready to restart, but Libya has a very important instrument at hand. It's a big country with a number of inhabitants which is not very high.
Ripartirà in forza. Potrà
The fact that it has always been the first commercial partner for Libya. Tunisia, we have 910 Italian companies which are active in Tunisia, not only for agriculture, but also textile industry and so on and so forth. A few months ago, I was to Rish Matouk in the desert in the area bordering Algeria, where Italian cooperation works jointly with the Tunisian government to increase production of dates. Wells were drilled 1 kilometer in depth to withdraw water, and excellent projects were carried out with Italian cooperation. I'm referring to dates. I don't want to cover olive oil, which is another very important production for Tunisia. Tunisia, too, is a country that we do like and love. If you go to Tunis, La Goulette, La Petite Sicile, where a lot of Sicilians used to live. And the actress Claudia Cardinale was born in Tunis. And Italy covers 34% of the Italian-Tunisian imports, which means that we rank first in Tunisia. Algeria. So 41 million hectares of land. Imports were blocked. Imports have now been made free again. And Italy ranks a third after Turkey and China. And Morocco, Morocco, which has really bet on logistics, and it's in between Western Africa, Western Europe, and Africa, with the port of Tangiers, which paves the way to opportunities that are still to be explored. So this is a very short wrap-up of this publication. And now we open the technical presentations. Some slides will be presented by our next speaker. Well, the publication contains a lot of interesting data that I've tried to process to offer an overview of the machines that the Italian industry can make available on the basis of the results in the report. This is not my presentation. Well, I had the same problem during my first press conference. And later evening, Patrizia will tell you, I apologize, it will never happen again. So it's not a problem. I think we can start. The presentation is here. Well, the previous speaker reported the greatest majority of data, but I want to start by mentioning the main crops and the machines that can be used and the economic and environmental context that deserve to be considered. I've tried to bring together all the machines which are used for land to get a yield, starting from tractors, soil preparation, sowing and transplant, irrigation, plant protection, harvest, and handling. I don't want to be tedious. I will give you just a few examples about crops. Olive was already mentioned. Olive trees and oil, citrus, cereals, which cannot be given for granted. Wheat, barley, rice, and maize, vegetables, and especially tomato is one of the Egypt, sugar from beet and cane, potatoes that we know well. Well, there are here some pictures of crops we are less familiar with, just to show the challenges in terms of mechanization. You see here a person on the plant picking up dates or pineapple or avocado and mango plants, which are quite more similar to our apple trees. This is just to say that crops are diversified, and especially for pineapple, they are quite inhospitable in the sense that it's very difficult to approach, to get closer to these trees. So what about the economic environmental context? Farms are small in size, stretching over a few hectares. They are family run, and the income is not high. We spoke of tractor sharing, but what is really needed is to increase investment capacity. Because it is not true that simpler machines can be used in a context which is not highly performing. Well, because the problems are challenging. Water is scarce, risk of desertification is very high, and therefore evolved technologies can respond to these issues, and tractor sharing is one of the possible solutions. So what can we use? Industry in Italy is a leader for specialized mechanization. On the left, tractors to be used in the fruit orchards, in olive groves and fruit orchards. An example of a tractor utility, which is always useful for farms, And in some cases, high-power tractors are also needed. And all of these types of machines are offered by the Italian manufacturing industry. About other types of activities, well, there's not a specific tractor for North African area. But if we give a look at the various equipment, I've included only the equipment with a netted value with respect to common equipment. About soil tillage, there is only one to show you an example of a machine which tills only the bands of land where the crop is to be established, because this is one of the ways to apply the principles of a conservation agriculture and to combat the risk of desertification. About soil management, two machines which allow to reduce the use of plant protection products and optimize the use of water. Mulching machines and the machines which are here are fit for a pineapple cultivation, reducing humidity, and without reducing the weeds, without compromising the development of the main crop. For sowing, these are two examples of sowing machines which work without doing any other kind of preliminary tillage of the soil. The machine on the right is manufactured by a company in Puglia, a company that started to believe in the importance of this technology as back as the 90s. About crops grown in North Africa. This is an example of a transplant for tomato. There are different levels of automation for this kind of machine. This is a kneading machine. You see that workers are there, but they perform other operations because the operations are mechanized. Irrigation. Just to remind you that one of the key parameters when we speak of irrigation is efficiency. And when we say efficiency, we refer to the amount which is withdrawn from the electrical network and the amount of water which is distributed to the plant. When water is abundant, for example, flooding, efficiency is very low. It is 1/4 between what we withdraw and the water which is given to the plant. Surface flooding has a higher efficiency up to trickle irrigation, which means that if we use sprinkler machines and with specific tricks, it is possible to gain efficiency levels which are comparable to trickle irrigation. It means that it is important to take into account the kind of efficiency, the efficiency for the rewinding of the pipe in the case of these pipes, and all the systems and solutions to optimize the use of water. The machine which is called the Pivot, which is the one on the top of the slide on the right, these solutions have been introduced. Low energy precision application system have been introduced in order to reach the crop in a very close manner to reduce dispersion and evapotranspiration. And then there are the drip systems that we know. They can be attached to the stem of the plant in the case of the fruit orchard, or they can be buried or underground. However, with the sprinkler irrigation and the trickle irrigation, we have to take into account the digital dimension of agriculture, also in North Africa. These are not systems to be applied in a hypothetical future, but these are systems to be applied nowadays because it is important to irrigate in an optimized manner, considering the conditions of the plant, its status, and all the characteristics which are acquired by a sensor these data are then processed, and with the 4.0 agriculture machines, operations are set in an ideal manner. For the machines that reduce the impact on the environment, this is an example of a machine to reduce of a weeding machine to reduce the impact on tomatoes. It's a mechanical operation. This hoeing has been developed not to compromise the crop. About the plant protection, there are some specific measures that can be applied. Everything is reported in the report. Spraying machines, the sprayers, are imported from Italy, and this has a considerable impact. This is an example of a machine for crop protection with a bar, but please, you can notice this yellow part on the bar, which conveys a flow of air towards the soil to avoid the dispersal into the atmosphere of the chemical product which is being delivered. A similar concept is with this. This is an atomizer for vineyards or fruit orchards. There's not a fan, but there are some conveyors, and the objective is the same, applying the chemical product only where it is needed, not to disperse it in an uncontrolled manner in the environment. I come back to the digital concepts. Also in the case of the spraying bars, digital solutions help so as to distribute the product only where it is needed, which is the essence of precision agriculture, that applied to machines for precision agriculture becomes very important. These are some examples of control systems which allow to differentiate the length of the bar in terms of redistribution on the crop. Same concept exists for the atomizers. In this slide, we speak only, I'm referring to the scheme in green, conventional distribution, which bypasses the vegetation. We control distribution through sensors, electronic sensor. The profile of the plant is followed. Another evolution is control about leaf density. Where the vegetation is denser, a higher amount is distributed. And another step is the distribution over the problem occurs. It's a camera-based system to see in real time where the plant is attacked, and the chemical product is distributed only where it is needed. About harvesting machines, these are just examples. Concerning olive trees, this is an example of a beating poles, which is connected to the tractor. This is a mechanical arm for beating and harvesting fruits. If we want to shake the plant, these are the solutions. These are the shakers that can be mounted on the fore or on the back of the machine. Again, for the harvesting of olives, this is another example of a semi-propelled machine, and therefore this is the shaker on the ground, which is automated for the olives. In the case in which it is possible to have an intensive growth, this is the case in Spain, it is also possible to utilize these machines with a higher efficiency. Well, for harvesting machines, this is the fruit orchard, avocado, mango, or other similar trees. These are the aiding machines, platforms which allow to get closer to the canopy of the plant, working safely and moving along the row. Well, for harvesting, we know the combined harvesters, for example. The Italian manufacturers are specialized in the building of the heads of these plants. And in this slide, you see the first equipment of the machine for the harvesting of wheat, and then in the pictures, those for the harvesting of sunflower and of maize. About cotton, this is a specific dedicated machine. There are two main types, one which is called a stripper on the left-hand side. The stripper strips the plant, whereas the picker picks only the mature part of the cotton from the open capsules. It's more selective and less invasive, just to start to wrap up the specialization. In the case of the sugar cane, here again, a dedicated machine is available. It is developed in the United States, but it can be used wherever it is needed. About harvesting machines, this is the Site 4 sugar beet. The two tractors in the background, where you see that there is a machine in the front and at the back of the tractor. The one on the front is a defoliator. The one on the back is the one which harvests the beet, the sugar beet from the ground. The other two tractors in the forefront are machines for the automatic loading of the beets, which are extracted from the ground. With the harvesting machines, this is an example of a machine for the harvesting of onions. This is one of the crops which is also included in the report, or this one for the harvesting of beans and the French beans. This is a level of specialization for this kind of machine, or tomatoes and pepper. This is a self-propelling machine, which is a sort of mobile working site with a very high efficiency. For the other typical machines, this is a machine for the harvesting of potatoes. And this is a handler of workers to pick up date palms. You see the difference with respect to the very first picture I showed you. You see the utilization of the handler. The mechanization response to these needs. It suffices to have a knowledge, a deep knowledge, and also the necessary funds. But thanks to systems like tractor sharing, it is also possible to utilize these machines in North Africa. This is it, and I give the floor back to the moderator. Thank you, Davide Niesini. Well, it seems that doing farming is really easy job. And my father asked me whether I wanted to work in agriculture or whether I wanted to go to university. At Rijmatug, I saw people climbing on the trees. And they were climbing very, very fast. But it's quite dangerous. And now, another point of view. We give the floor to Mara Semeraro from Siambari. Bari hosts the Mediterranean Agronomic Institute. There's also one in Montpellier, another in Saragossa, the other in Greece, and a general secretariat in Paris. And Siambari is carrying out a number of projects from agriculture to the fisheries. And Siambari delivers also training courses.
Sì. Qui cominciamo a caricare.
We are preparing the slideshow. Here you are, your slides. So, the premises of this institute are located in Valenzano, a few kilometers from here. Ciheam is an international intergovernmental organization which brings together 13 Mediterranean member countries with a General Secretariat in Paris and 4 Mediterranean Economic Institutes based in Bari, Montpellier, Zaragoza, and Kanya. The main mission of Ciheam Bari is training and education, and also development cooperation and research applied to cooperation. We are active in various thematic areas: precision crop, biodiversity enhancement, blue economy, innovation, youth entrepreneurship, and more specifically, as regards training education. Since 1962, we have trained over 13,000 ministerial officials coming from various countries and who are now in key positions. We also have former trainees who are now ministers. So we have trainees and students who live their life in our campus and who form part of our daily life. We deliver 5 Master of Science programs and 2 advanced specialized courses. Thematic areas are Mediterranean organic agriculture, focusing on innovative technologies for processing, post-harvesting, and the final steps for packaging. Sustainable agrosystems and resilience. This course is focused on innovation processes in the food supply chain and mainly the green economy. One more Master of Science is a focus on sustainable water and land management and agriculture. There are some cross-cutting themes for all of these Master of Science programs. That's to say, the use of smart tools aiming to manage natural resources at the best. One more master regards the integrated pest management of fruit and vegetable crops, mainly for detection and preventive control, monitoring tools, and surveillance of plant pests and diseases, and also the use of predictive models and tools. These themes are so interesting that over the last year, we could launch the first ever advanced specialized course on precision agriculture for the Mediterranean region. For 8 weeks, we brought together specialists from this sector to cover technologies applied to precision agriculture like the IoT or the GIS. One of the latest master courses is youth entrepreneurship, focusing on strengthening the youth entrepreneurship. We also train innovation managers. We favor the launch of startups and the training of innovation brokers to provide consultancy services. That is why we train trainees to foster innovation in the businesses. Well, considering the weight of training in our organization, we wanted to evaluate the social impact of training. In the period between 1998 and 2015, we carried out an ex-post assessment, an ex-post evaluation based on a method called SROI, Return on Social Investment, to measure the extra financial value, which is not generally considered by financial stakeholders. So we took into account some dimensions of social impact, like professional development, multiculturalism, network, knowledge production, innovation, development of institutional capacities. And we could realize that Siambari is a catalyst of training, experiences, multicultural dimensions, along with innovation and ability to produce knowledge. We may say that the social impact is mainly related to knowledge production. So just some figures. Starting from the initial investment for training, that's to say more than 3.5 million euros, we generate a social impact which is equal to 3.89 euros. And the job integration reaches a rate equal to 75% in various sectors, the research, the private sector, and so on. We also have a great networking activity. We have also set up the former trainees network, which brings together about 16,000 members, including 10,000 former students coming from 57 countries. And this is one of our strengths. And I'd like to share with you some examples concerning a non-institutional training, which is not delivered in our premises, but through local cooperation programs in other countries. Let us start illustrating a case study concerning Syria. In a vulnerable setting, in a conflict area, we could provide remote technical assistance to respond to the local needs. First of all, we assessed the beneficiaries' needs, the needs of various stakeholders, say veterinaries, farmers, women, and so on. We developed curricula to respond to these needs, and we could train more than 1,500 trainees who trained back the local population with 19 areas which were connected remotely with the Siambari, also from other neighboring countries like Turkey and Lebanon. What about the goal of our training program? Along with the training, we try to favor the delivery of input to local farmers. So we associated training on how farming has to be implemented, how to improve food security, because training could consistently reduce the animal diseases. So utmost importance is improving the food quality in these fragile areas. The very last example is the SAM-SIMIFA project implemented in Egypt in cooperation with FederUnacoma. The overall budget equaled 10 million euros. And 8 million euros were used to buy tractors. The remaining funds were used to provide technical assistance to respond to the local needs. Mechanization services were very limited and very distant, not convenient. Technicians were not available, and therefore we decided to train growers, cooperatives by evolving through a bottom-up approach 112 agricultural cooperatives, farmers' cooperatives, which turned into mechanization hubs. We could also train public facilitators for dissemination, thus generating a new form of technical assistance and management services. We may say that cooperation and our capability to transfer knowledge was the main asset, and also bridging the gap between public and private stakeholders. Thank you, Ms. Semeraro, for recalling that training is closely related to the themes that we are debating today. I see representatives from some businesses specializing in drip irrigation. And his presence is very important here. This conference is streamed live, and therefore we have some participants that are connected remotely. And now I would like to give the floor to the Libyan Deputy Minister for a speech. The speech will be delivered in Arabic, but Noor will help us by translating from Arabic to Italian.
باسمي واسم الفريق المرافق وباسم حكومة الوحدة الوطنية أتقدم بالشكر والتقدير لجمهورية إيطاليا شعبا وحكومة على دعمها ووقوفها مع ليبيا في كارثة الشرق الليبي درنا وجبل الأخضر. تحية حارة لكم جميعا في مؤتمر آفاق التنمية الاقتصادية لدول شمال أفريقيا، وأنا فخور جدا بأني أمثل الجانب الليبي في هذا الحدث المهم الذي يجمعنا اليوم، وتتمثل هذه المناسبة فرصة قيمة لنا للتعاون والتفاعل حول قضايا تهم شعوبنا وتنميتها المستدامة.
Buongiorno a tutti.
Good morning. On my personal behalf and on behalf of the Libyan government, I'd like to extend my thanks and appreciation to the Republic of Italy for its support to Libya during the disaster in the city of Derna. I'd like to extend my greetings to all of you and to all participants in this very interesting workshop about the future prospects of development in North Africa. I represent Libya in this very important event, an event which represents for us a very valuable opportunity of cooperation and of interaction on issues regarding our populations and their sustainable development and growth.
بما في ذلك ليبيا، لقد مرت بلادي بتحديات كبيرة في السنوات السابقة أثرت سلبا على الاقتصاد والتنمية، ومع ذلك فإننا اليوم نتطلع للعمل معا من أجل تحقيق التقدم الذي نطمح إليه جميعا. إن ليبيا تمتلك إمكانيات هائلة وثروات طبيعية كثيرة، ولها موقع جغرافي استراتيجي يربط بين القارة الأفريقية والأوروبية، ونحن على يقين أن تحقيق التنمية الاقتصادية المستدامة تحتاج إلى تنوع الاقتصاد وتعزيز القطاعات الغير نفطية. وبالنظر إلى طبيعة الاقتصاد الليبي فإن هناك فرص كبيرة للاستثمار في قطاع الزراعة والصناعة والسياحة والتكنولوجيا.
Economic development is a crucial issue for population in the north of Africa, including Libya. My country has faced lots of challenges that had an impact, a negative impact on economy and on its development. But we want to work together in order to achieve advancement and breakthrough. Libya has a huge potential thanks to its natural resources and the strategic geographical position connecting Africa to Europe. We are sure that sustainable economic development calls for diversification of economy and enhancement of sectors other than the oil sector. Given the nature of economy in Libya, there are great opportunities of investments in the sectors of agriculture, tourism, and technology.
أمرا هاما سعيا إلى تحقيق التنمية الاقتصادية، كما ندعو الدول الصديقة والشقيقة والشركاء الدوليين إلى الاستثمار في ليبيا، ونحن ملتزمون بتوفير بيئة استثمارية مشجعة ومنصات لتبادل المعرفة والتكنولوجيا، وذلك من خلال تسهيل الإجراءات وتقديم الحوافز المشجعة للاستثمار. كم هذه؟ تمام.
Riteniamo che la cooperazione internazionale
I think that international and regional cooperation is important in our attempt at achieving full economic development. This is why we ask our countries and international partners to make investments in Libya. We want to provide enabling environment for investments and a platform by facilitating procedures for future investments.
لتعزيز وتطوير المهارات وتوفير فرص العمل للشباب. فالشباب هم ركيزة المستقبل، ونحن نسعى لتمكينهم وتقوية دورهم في تحقيق التنمية الاقتصادية من خلال دعمهم للابتكار وريادة الأعمال وتوفير التعليم المهني لكي نتمكن من بناء جيل مبدع وقادر على النهوض بليبيا نحو مستقبل أفضل.
Furthermore, we also try to enhance and develop skills and offer job opportunities to the youth. Youth are the pillar of the future, and we want to make them aware, and we want to strengthen their role in terms of economic development, supporting innovation, providing vocational training in order to promote a creative generation and for a better future for Libya.
الذي يبذلها المجتمع الدولي والمنظمات الإقليمية في دعم عملية الانتقال الديمقراطي والتنمية في ليبيا، كما نتمن هذا الدعم ونامل في المزيد من التعاون والشراكة لتحقيق أهدافنا المشتركة. شكرا لكم جميعا والسلام عليكم.
I'd like to say that I'm definitely proud for the efforts made by the international community and by the regional organizations in the support towards democratic transition and the process of development in Libya. We do appreciate this support, and hopefully we'll work with other international organizations and cooperation in order to achieve common objectives. Thank you. I have a question. What are the areas of collaboration with Italy? How can Italy collaborate with Libya? Also, sector of agriculture. Agriculture is very important, also technology and entrepreneurship. So there is room for Italy. So there is full room for Italy. Thank you. From Libya to Tunisia, Abdel Fattah Said Director General of Agriculture Production at the Ministry of Agriculture, Tunisia. تفضل.
في تونس ومجالات الاستثمار الممكنة ما بين تونس وإيطاليا.
Buongiorno a tutti.
Good morning. I will address opportunities for agriculture in Tunisia.
السلطات الإيطالية وكذلك الجامعة الإيطالية لصناعة الآلات الفلاحية وكذلك المعهد المتوسطي للعلوم الفلاحية على الاستضافة وحسن الوفادة.
First of all, I'd like to thank the Italian government and FederUnacoma and Ciheam.
التونسي الإيطالي معناها منذ القدم منذ سنوات كثيرة معناها فيه تعاون مجال تعاون كبير سواء بالنسبة للتبادل التجاري ولا التعاون الفني في كل المجالات خاصة في المجال الفلاحي. كما ذكر السيد سابقا عندنا أكثر من 2000 شركة متواجدة إيطالية متواجدة في التراب التونسي خاصة في جميع المجالات.
La cooperazione.
Cooperation between Tunisia and Italy started long ago. There are a lot of Italian companies which work in Tunisia.
الإمكانيات الموجودة حاليا بالنسبة لتونس عندنا المجال الفلاحي معناها فيه 10 مليون هكتار منهم 5 مليون مخصصة للزراعات فيهم الزيتين يحتل 2 مليون هكتار الحبوب الزراعة الكبرى 1,600,000 الغابات قرابة 1,000,000 هكتار وكذلك المراعي 1,000,000 هكتار.
Allora,
I want to share some key indicators for agriculture. The agricultural surface area is of about 10 million hectares, and the utilizable arable area is about 5 million hectares. Pasture, 4 million hectares.
per quanto riguarda la coltivatura.
About cultivation, about olive growing, the olive industry. That about 2 million hectares grown with olive trees.
والعدد الأصول الزيتون لي بلان
كم واحدة؟
100 مليون.
10 milioni.
10 million olive trees.
300,000 منتج للزيتين.
Per quanto riguarda
About producers, about the olive growers, there are about 300,000 olive growers. About oil mills, 1,600 oil mills are available.
30 وحدة.
30 واحدة.
30.
Ci sono 30
بالنسبة لمعدل الإنتاج الزيتين معناها في تونس معناها بالنسبة للعشر سنوات الماضية في حدود 210,000 طن زيت.
La produzione del
Production of olive oil, is of 210,000 tons. Tunisia ranks fourth for the production of olive oil. As to exports of olive oil, Tunisia exports 110,000 tons. Tunisia exports about 70 million tons to Europe. About other countries, it exports olive oil to China, Canada, America, and other African countries. This is why we can work together with Italy in order to promote production of olive oil, also to improve the quality and the packaging. The second sector, in terms of importance for Tunisia, is represented by dates. With about 58,000 hectares in the south of the country, annual production is equal to 350,000 tons. We export 120 tons. And Tunisia exports dates to more than 100 countries in the world. As to cooperation with Italy, some projects of development were launched in the south of the country. For the cereal sector, about 1.6 million hectares are grown. For a collaboration of the development of the cereal sector in Tunisia, I do hope we can work more to improve the quality of cereals. Also because Tunisia is affected by water scarcity. Tunisia produces citrus, grows citrus, and exports citrus fruit to a lot of countries. In 1990 and between 2004 and 2007, there was a strong collaboration between Italy and Tunisia to improve citrus crop protection. And Italy sent citrus trees to Tunisia in order to improve the cultivation and the quality of the citrus industry. Tunisian government also worked collaboratively with Siambari for certification of plants. Certified plants where plants were certified collaboratively with Ciheam. Thanks to Siambari, certification program was set out in Tunisia. The Italian government backed up Tunisia, also in the field of organic farming, which has grown over the last years. I want to underline the importance of geothermal agriculture.
القطاعات الهامة في تونس، أما بالنسبة لسبل التعاون نطلبوا بها احنا كجانب تونسي بالنسبة للجانب الإيطالي، معناها في 5 مجالات ربما نجموا نتعاونوا فيهم.
Exchange of experience is very important for Tunisia. I will want to collaborate with Italy to further develop the sector. Exchange of experience is key especially as far as the developed technology is concerned. We can collaborate with Italy also in another sector, and this especially for the production of feedstuff, and how feed crops can be grown. Another important sector is the use of renewable energy to protect the environment. So we can work with Italy, also in this sector, in the desert area of Tunisia. If there are questions, I'm available. So thank you. Thank you. The main sectors of development are the olive industry and the date, if I'm not mistaken, and which are also Mediterranean crops. Olive trees, for example, can be found everywhere in the Mediterranean area. How can Italy contribute to exchange of skills, of skillful personnel, of knowledge?
وين تحبوا نعاونوكم كإيطاليا؟ دونك أنا ذكرته في المحافظة على الجودة، خاصة في العصر التريتيراسيون، وكذلك في الخزن وحتى التعليب. هذا معناه كيفاش تخزنها. كما شفنا اليوم في الطريقة نتاعهم، عندهم هم متميزين في آلة العصر وكذلك في الخزن والتعليب.
Ok, posso tradurre in inglese così perché ci sono tanti termini tecnici.
Je peux parler en français?
Oui.
Donc, notre demande de l'Italie sont les pionniers dans la fabrication des machines de trituration.
L'Italia è pioniera nella fabbricazione degli strumenti di triturazione e di stoccaggio, di imbottigliamento per la qualità dell'olio. L'olio di oliva si vende sfuso, anche l'olio biologico.
De l'huile conditionnée, surtout, il faut garder la qualité.
Qualità importante, sia la qualità per le olive che devono essere poi trasformate in olio, sia l'imbottigliamento. So the efforts are made to get a product whose quality is even higher than the one which is now available. And Italy can provide technology and skills. Well, I tasted olive oil of the best, and I have to say that it's an excellent. Thank you, Abdel Fattah Said. Director General of Director General, Ministry of Agriculture. I don't know whether there are questions, but I want to give the floor to Fabio Ricci, Vice Director General, who organized the meeting, the workshop. Well, if there are no questions, I'd like to give the floor. Well, I have a question. I have a question. In Italy, we manufacture a lot of machines. I'm not an expert. And the digitalization rate can vary. Now, according to you, for the African markets, markets which can differ, are we able to respond to the needs expressed by the African markets, to all the needs? Well, let me say that we are ready.
We want to meet the population needs you recalled at the beginning by protecting, safeguarding what the land provides us. Training is the main ingredient. Technology is available, and in my view, we have to opt for this choice instead of opting for too advanced machines which are not effective in the short term. And now a question to Mara Semeraro. Once I met a colleague of yours from Ciheam in Gerba. Probably his name is Carbonara, who has been working for some years on the blue crab. Ciheam has been investigating into the blue crab, which is posing a major threat to the fishers' nets. So I know that your colleague has long been working on this blue crab, which is which is breaking the Tunisian fishers' nets. That's a great challenge, a big challenge. Ciheam is trying and solving this problem. Yes, you are right. We found a useful solution for all the parties involved and concerned to turn this problem into a food. If I'm not wrong, we started discussing this problem in 2023. Now I am discussing the fisheries sector, but just to say that Italy and Tunisia are going have been working together and are going hand in hand since 2016 to face this problem, to take up this challenge. Ciheam is also active in the sector of the circular economy, reuse of waste. There are many projects that are demonstrating how Italy and its partners like Libya and Tunisia can join forces. The Libyan minister recalled the Derna tragedy, and we'd like to express our support to the Libyan population, but we'd like to foster cooperation beyond this this tragedy. Ciheam and FederUnacoma have long been providing their support. If you do not have questions, we can close this meeting by giving the floor to Fabio Ricci, who is the organizer of this roundtable. FederUnacoma president quitted the meeting due to other commitments. Thank you, Gianfranco. Let me thank, on behalf of FederUnacoma, Africa Affari, because we met some weeks ago in our offices to design together this publication that you were delivered at this meeting. This is the very first step towards a long series, because we are very much interested in the African continent. You cited some figures, and beyond the fact that Africa is the first continent in terms of arable land worldwide, we also have to underline that Africa needs technology due to its very low mechanization level, and the potential is huge. As FederUnacoma Federation, we have been participating in various initiatives, missions, institutional activities in cooperation with the Italian Minister of Foreign Affairs and ICE, the Italian Trade Institute, to promote these initiatives. We decided to dedicate this session to North African countries here in Agri-Levante. You know that this exhibition is very important for the countries bordering the Mediterranean Sea. And you know that Puglia in Italy is the farming region, the most important farming region. We have to take into account the needs in North African countries and in many other African countries, family-run agriculture, family agriculture plays an important role. We are the leaders of small and medium-sized mechanization. We do not only need technology, but also funds, investments, and training. I would like to emphasize the cooperation launched in 2008 with the Ciheam, because we not only have to deliver technology, but we also have to provide training to support the introduction of technology. We may be the ideal partners in the development of the primary sector in Northern Africa and in many other African countries where agriculture plays a key role in determining the gross domestic product. I was not surprised by figures concerning the cereals. You know that the Ukrainian-Russian conflict is reshaping the relationships with some countries, say, for instance, Tunisia, which cannot count anymore on the cereals imported from Ukraine, supplied by Ukraine, and that's why the national policies are being renewed to face the problem of supply shortage. So, I'd like to reiterate that we need technology and new ways to encourage, to provide the funds to finance this mechanization. The Sansifa project is the example of a winning project. Two governorates were equipped, provided with technology and relevant training. Tractor sharing is important as well in some African countries. Say, for instance, Nigeria. we may say that they already have a kind of Uber for agricultural machineries and tractors. So you can avail of digital technology. You can take a big step forward compared to our situation in Italy to aim to try and achieve the introduction of smart technology, smart digitalized technology to increase production, profitability, and to save the use of seeds, chemicals, and other farming inputs, which account for about 60% of farmers' cost. We are ready. We can listen to you. And compared to other international competitors, we can provide an extraordinary advantage as Italian industry. We are very flexible. We can adapt our production to the various farming settings, whatever the latitude. We are ready to cooperate with various countries. Let me officially thank Ciheam for collaborating to the organization of visits by delegates from various countries, say Pakistan, Kenya, Bosnia and Herzegovina, apart from delegation from Libya and Tunisia. I'd like to thank all the participants for attending this meeting. I'd like to reiterate my thanks to Africa Affari and enjoy Agri Levante. Thank you all. I would like to thank all the speakers, Maria Teresa Mastro, Tomasini, Mara Semeraro, ministers from Libya and Tunisia, and thank you again.
Io non esco adesso subito perché quelli mi mettono a fare le interviste. No,
vabbè, tanto io sto finendo qua questo terribile abstract, l'ultimo che hanno mandato.
L'ultimo che mi manca l'ultimo. Poi mia sorella,